I've told you guys this story before. I'll tell you this story too. When I was a kid, my mom and dad would go to the store together. All right, so let's say we were going to a store. First place we would go when we entered the store was the toy department. All right, my parents would say, "Okay, pick a toy." So I would look at all the toys. Oh, look at this one. I want this one. So I would hold it and I would just have the toy in the cart with me. I would sit there looking at the toy for an hour, 2 hours, and then at the end of the trip, when they were ready to check out, they said, "Okay, time to go back." Okay, we'll go back to the toy department. I put the toy back on the shelf, and that was it. We would leave. I didn't get the toy. So I knew when I went to that store, I wasn't getting anything. I could look at the toy. I could examine it. I could, read the box. I could think about maybe this is something that I want in the future when it's a special occasion. But I didn't just get it. Okay? Continue with a segment that you guys enjoy every week. It is called Phil's Day Off. And today I would like to tell you all about what I did yesterday. All right? So on my day off yesterday, essentially, it was going to be a more laid-back day. The week before, all right, I had gone out and done a million things. I had a bunch of appointments and different things to do. This week, the good news is I didn't have any of that, all right? But some things kind of came together that I hadn't really planned on originally, and therefore, because of that, I ended up getting a lot of stuff done, and let's talk a little bit about that. So, typically on my day off, what do? Well, usually I wake up, spend some time with my family, and then we will make like our grocery list for the week. What meals do we want to have this week? What else do we need for around the house? I'll run out, and if I need pet supplies for Jasper, we'll do that. So really, it's an errand day. I run around doing a lot of errands on my day off, but then typically on my one day off from streaming, I get a week, we order out, so that way we don't have to cook. We cook literally every other day, every other meal, so it's nice to not have to cook for anyone. So that's one thing that we do, and then anything else that happens during that day. So it just so happens, yesterday was a pretty eventful day, for some good reasons and some not so good. So here's something interesting you may not realize, because it really depends on where you live. I have no idea where many of you live, because you probably live all over the world, correct? Here in the United States, at least where I live in the state of Washington, and we are considered a green state. Okay, what does that mean? It means that here in our state, we do everything we can to try to be environmentally friendly and economical in that regard. Recycling is a huge deal. Disposing of certain kinds of things in certain ways is a huge deal. Other places, they're just like, just throw everything out. Go to a landfill and just throw garbage dump. Just dump everything. We don't do that here. We are very strict on the ways that things are disposed, on the ways that things are separated, all kinds of stuff like that, okay? So why am I telling you this? Is it because I went on a trip to the garbage dump this week? No, absolutely not. So, you guys may be aware of something that happened a few years ago. It was called the pandemic, the COVID pandemic. And when the COVID pandemic happened, it threw a lot of things into disarray. Here in the state of Washington, we are required to separate all of our trash into the following. Ready for this? This is going to be pretty interesting. First of all, you're supposed to have standard trash, but that doesn't include food. So it's supposed to be standard trash, but no food, okay? Then you have recyclables. Recyclables include cardboard, paper, plastic, glass, but they're all supposed to be fully cleaned off and sorted and separated, okay? Then you have your compostable, meaning food waste and yard waste and things like that. And you're supposed to put that into a separate thing so that can be, composted and for again, green purposes. Okay. Then I'm not done. We're not even close to being done. Then there's electronics. You are not allowed to dispose of certain kinds of electronics in the state of Washington. You want to throw out that old PC? Absolutely not. Do you have something that has like a small engine in it? Can't throw it out. I'm not kidding. I have an old TV that busted, like, from years ago, and it's still in my house. I haven't disposed of it yet, because you have to go somewhere special to get rid of electronics. You can't just throw them out. Not allowed here. Okay? But the point I'm actually getting to is kind of interesting. It has nothing to do with any of those. It's the fifth kind of trash. The fifth kind of trash that we have here in the state of Washington, get this, is styrofoam. Yes, styrofoam. That product that's typically used for packaging of something else that's way more important, like an electronic or a piece of glass or whatever, to make sure it doesn't get broken in transit, okay? So why am I telling you this? Because pre-COVID, my wife and I would regularly go on what we called styrofoam runs. What does that mean? You have to go to a special place that's designated as a styrofoam recycling drop-off facility. And get this, you can't just go and drop styrofoam. You've got to have styrofoam in special bags, and you either can give them the special bags, or you need to dump all your styrofoam, and you have to make sure there's no tape on it, there's nothing else, no cardboard can be included. It's like, this is what they want in the state. Like, nothing can be simple. Everything's got to be like the most complex, time-consuming project you could ever think of. That's how they live here. Like, they all have time to do this shit, I guess. Anyway, so, before COVID happened, my wife and I were on top of this. It wasn't a big deal. Maybe every 2-3 months we do a styrofoam run and we drop off one big garbage bag of styrofoam from packages and things that have arrived at the house. And that was that. But during COVID, all of 2022 and into 2020 and into 2021. I got that confused. During 2020 and into 2021, they suspended the styrofoam collection process, stating that it would be too dangerous. All that infectious styrofoam, apparently, right? You can't trust it. So they didn't collect it for like a year and a half. And then sometime in 2021, they basically started to slowly go back. And then by last year, everything was back to normal. All right? I'm probably, of all the area in my garage where you can walk around, I'm not shitting you, it's probably about 1/4 of my garage was full of fucking bagged styrofoam. And it just sat there, because it just kept increasing more and more. It's like, when am I going to have time to take a day away and go to the styrofoam place with 9 bags of fucking styrofoam? Alright? That was yesterday. Yes, I finally did it. I had enough. I was like, dude, this garage is in disarray, because it was. Like, the garage was kind of dirty, and other things had been kind of neglected in the garage because half of it was full of styrofoam. I can't do anything till this styrofoam's gone. So I finally had enough. So yesterday I went and I got rid of it all. It was a pain in the ass to lug it all into the car and then lug it all trip after trip out of the car into the place. But I got it done, okay? And so, I'm not kidding you, my garage went from being insanely cluttered to pretty much open. So yesterday, my wife and I spent a good chunk of the day cleaning the garage. You know, sweeping, vacuuming. Anyway, that was my day.